Welcome to the Challenge Chronicles. I'm Devin Jordan. I'm with Trace Armstrong and Rob McIntyre, also known as the Riddler, for everyone that's watching on video right now. If you like the content that you're about to hear, you can sign up and become a patron at thechallengechronicles.com. Typically, we do about one extra episode per week, so hopefully we'll be able to provide you a lot of value for those $4 extra. Trace, what do they get for becoming a patron?
Well, you get access to our Discord server, which is pretty much on fire. There's a lot of participation, a lot of fun stuff going on. We have our own Challenge Fantasy League just for patrons that has kicked off for this season. You also get access to the entire archive. So if you were listening to us back in the day where we were chronicling every season of the challenge, we're still doing that, but we're releasing them on the public feed a little slower. So if you are a patron and you want to hear the entire chronicle of the Duel 2 or the very first 2 episodes of the Ruins, those are available right now, as well as all of the previous seasons going back to Battle of the Seasons.
So again, we'd love if you became a patron. It's only $4 a month. It really helps us improve the quality of the show. Since we've started the Patreon, we've really been able to up the video quality and be able to up the audio quality, and we hope to be able to just continue to improve. Today, we are here to cover and recap episode 1 of Spies, Lies, and Allies. But before we do that, we would like to give a shout out to 2 of our patrons. First one, King Louis. Second one, Neka Aguatu. Thank you for being patrons. Hopefully, some of the rest of you that are listening right now will continue or decide to support us as we go through this. But first episode of Spies, Lies, and Allies. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, big success from my view.
If we're just grading this by win and a loss, this was definitely a win. Was definitely entertained. I think that we're all going to be pretty much on the same page with this as far as issues that we have with the format and kind of the structure of what we have to this point so far. So what were your initial thoughts with what we saw in the first 90 minutes of Spies, Lies, and Allies, episode 1?
Do you want to go more into like the format and long-term stuff, or more of just what happened in the episode?
Rob's choice right now. The Riddler chooses.
If we want to start off at the top, I thought the opening mission was actually really cool. I thought there was a lot of cool stuff from there. CT hiding for one thing. He's the one dude who's scared of the first mission. Like, I mean, the guy who's been here since Inferno 1. Like, what do you think that was about?
I think it had everything to do with he had no idea who these women were that were running. And so I think he was just trying to stay out of, like,
was he trying to get Big T again and run it back with her?
No, I doubt that. Maybe he was watching. Who knows?
I don't know if he would have been that upset with Big T, to be honest. I wonder if he would have rather had Big T or the person that he ended up
Berna. Yeah. From scouting reports, I thought Berna looked pretty good. I think she's an acrobat coming from Survivor Turkey. We've seen that translates pretty well. So I think that's a pretty good team he's got.
That's a strong team.
Yeah.
Yes. CT had the really good quote at one point where he found out that Berna was in the circus at one point, and he said that she's going to fit right in with everyone else in the house.
It's a great quote.
So you've got Berna, you've got, I think, Big T and Tommy. I think that's about the best Tommy could do. I just think being with the veteran was probably so important for him. Michelle and Nam.
We don't have to go through the pairs. Let's skip to the meat and potatoes. Let's just go for it, Rob. Let's just go with what happened. Like, people are like, why aren't they talking about the big news of the episode?
Oh, what's the big news?
What did you consider the big news? Oh, who went into the elimination?
The conflict between Michelle and Michaela. That was pretty much the overarching
narrative. You could definitely see that one coming from a while away, just based on how the format was laid out. Those Survivor people were just going to be sitting ducks.
I don't even think that's what it was. I think what it comes down to is the amount of teams where there were 2 rookies on each team. That was solely what took place here. And then the twist that TJ threw in when they got to elimination, where he told them that they wouldn't have to put a team in. They would be able to choose one man and one woman from any team, completely destroyed and obliterated any chance of a rookie alliance, which was already on life support.
Well, I think what it should do is really kick it into gear, because they still have the numbers by a very thin margin at this point. So they should really see what's coming to them. But that's just not going to happen.
they can't even see straight, Rob. Like, they have no idea what's going on right now. Gabbo's picking Nani because he thinks she's hot. Half these people
he tells himself he has popcorn muscles in the confessional. He's calling himself out.
I have a note on Gabbo, and it's just 4 words. Gabbo is fucking clueless. He has no idea what show he stumbled onto. Like, he literally, like, this is no joke. He has no clue what this show is. He has no clue what he's there for. He has no strategy. He's just there. And it just was like, I can't decide whether I'm really excited about that or just fucking mystified that they cast him and he literally knows nothing.
We've seen that happen a couple times where at the internationals. It seems like most of the people actually did their homework a little bit, to be honest.
A lot of people did.
Like, I thought so. Like Logan clearly had at least seen last season based on how he was talking about Anissa.
Why do you say that?
By the way, because he was talking about how she really likes to be with a partner who coaches her, but coaches her positively.
That could probably just be from things that he's heard in the house. I don't know if there's
that could have just been him and Anissa having a conversation and in the confessional after the fact. So I don't know. It's possible, but I don't know.
We saw Kyle telling other people in the house about Anissa earlier on in the episode.
That's fair. To me, it came off like he had seen the last season. You don't think that they send them out the last season and half them watch it?
Dude, I wouldn't be like. I bet most of these people haven't seen the show before, really. Like maybe a few minutes here and there. Rob, you have to put yourself in the position of these people. These people don't give a fuck. They're there to get paid. They want the paycheck. Like the chance.
I mean, if I'm in that position, I'm watching everything.
I know you're not them though. Like
you just said, put me as them. That's me. That's what
you're them though.
But you have to then take on their intellect, Rob. Your IQ drops when you assume
they have other things going on.
Oh, I mean, make time.
They got grills to sell on Instagram. Okay.
It's true.
Some fit tea to push.
Anissa, by the way, is the first. I know we rag on Anissa sometimes, but first mission Maven. She's won 3 of the last 4 first missions she's been on.
Well, and to go into some other mission streaks, Nelson is now 0-36 in his last 36 missions.
And he'll get there.
You know what?
This was.
I had a. Go ahead, finish your thought. I had a thought.
He should have been able to do better at this one. This is something that he should have known. He should have known that the letters and numbers painted on the block actually meant something. Yeah, they should have. Like, this is pretty obvious.
How is Anissa like? I assume more people. Obviously, more people picked on it than just Anissa. But the fact that so many of them didn't was very surprising. Like, even the Survivor people should know.
Yeah, here's the truth, and I really think this is what happens now because of the twists they keep doing with the winner's power and things that happen in elimination, things like that. I think some of these crafty veterans don't want to win the first one because they don't want to get put in the hot seat and make an enemy when they get to the elimination and they have to pick a team or something wacky happens. I think they want to know, okay, if I'm going to win the challenge, I need to know exactly what that means. So let's let Anissa win the first challenge because she's going to go.
I think that's true.
I don't know if I buy that.
I don't think anyone's pulling up. Like, I don't think anyone's taking a dive in this first mission. It didn't seem like anyone was.
Because we don't know what the format is. Like Ashley and Huey could have been sent home right now.
Don't come in last. Just don't come in last.
Hold on. Real quick. So, did you think that they were going to be sent home?
No, I didn't.
No.
Why? They've done it before.
Yeah, but if they get purged out like that, they either A, announce it, or B, there's a redemption house.
Yeah, they announce it, yeah. They have never done that.
The only time they purged somebody out without announcing it was Nelson on Vendettas when the show was just run dumbly.
It's run by a kindergarten teacher or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what the heck.
I think the rookies are completely toast. I think they're going to get absolutely steamrolled.
Yeah, because my whole thing with the rookies veterans thing, I certainly thought the veterans would try with this, how the numbers shook out, to have a veterans group that just purged out the rookies.
You did not. You were against that, Rob.
No, my thing was always the format. No, you can go back and listen, Devin. My thing was the format was... Devin, listen to me. My thing was the format was going to restrict it because they were all on different teams. You can't, if you have to vote a team in, then that's hard. If you don't have to vote a team in now, all right, it's very easy to pick them off.
But you did not say that.
Yes, I did.
No, you did not. Well, go back and listen to the tapes,
everyone. Detail, Rob. Maybe that's what you intended to say.
That with the way the
that is not what we heard.
Well, yeah, because people hear the things that make you look better.
The patrons will speak.
Yeah, they'll
They
speak
will,
for me.
they will have the ultimate say.
Yeah, that was always my take. Is that I just with this format now, it's going to be very easy for the veterans to pick apart these rookies, assuming they win most of the
Completely
missions.
toast.
Yeah,
I do think
somebody said that this was going to be a rookie bloodbath, and this format just makes it. If a veteran wins the mission, 2 rookies are going in. Period.
Do you think there's going to be a lot of split votes once, like, some of the
You mean
rookies
as
get
far as
lost?
partners go?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, total. I think
Because,
there's going to be a lot of split votes.
Yeah, and so I wonder how they're going to deal with that.
I think they're really setting up the narrative that it's for this rookie alliance too, right? Because we saw that in the preview episode about how they talked about how there needs to be a veteran that wins. We got more of that this episode. It really seems like that alliance is probably going to carry a decent amount of the way, and there's going to be a veteran that wins.
Yeah, I think this is just veterans kind of all the way. There are, of course, going to be a few rookies who keep along. That's why I didn't really agree with what Emmy did, where she kind of put Michaela on blast, because, like, look, maybe this... It seems like she pretty much should have gotten thrown in this episode if they were having pairs getting put in.
Yeah.
And her poor partner, Corey, just got thrown under the bus for no real reason. Were you surprised they didn't put in Tommy?
Yes, I was shocked. I was legitimately shocked it wasn't Tommy.
So my only thought about why they potentially threw Corey in, and I'm just thinking through this now and out loud, is it possible that they saw what the elimination was and just kind of... No, that's not necessarily true.
Oh, and they probably, like, I don't know if they really minded if Michaela came back.
They just wanted rookies to go home. They didn't care. So,
yeah,
I mean, they just wanted someone that could, like... Yeah, I don't know. So I guess it doesn't really matter. So as long as they put a rookie in, they don't care. They really don't.
I mean, if you put Tommy and Michelle in, then you can launch 2. Because do you think Tommy and Michelle win or lose? Because Corey did a lot of work in that elimination. It seems
I think Tommy wins. I
more.
think Tommy would have probably won that. Yeah.
Because I mean, it seemed like Corey won that pretty much by himself, right?
Yeah.
It seems like he may have had a pretty good chance for, not by himself, but like he was 75 to 80% of that team.
Yeah.
Michaela definitely performed really well. I think one of the things that I'm disappointed about coming out of this episode is that she didn't get more of a chance, because it seems like she could have been good.
I felt really bad for her, to be honest. I mean, it's one of those things where it's definitely the right move for the majority of the house to just find the scapegoat and get them put in and stuff. But, like, there's just nothing you can do after a certain point with her.
Yeah, because really the list, I don't even know how much of it was, right? I think this is before that they knew that one man and one woman from any team that could go in. So at that point, I still feel like the focus was, all right, let's get 2 all-rookies teams in elimination. And I think that was the main goal. And so that, I think, was the larger reason of why they got chosen.
I think the Survivor didn't help. But, yeah, I definitely think that was a bigger reason. It's that she's Survivor, and she's also the only Survivor that was all-rookie at the time, because Michelle was with Nam and Tom.
And that's something that they can, like, plant their flag on, too, right? Is, like, when you're trying to put someone into elimination, you just want a story that people can tell themselves for why they're voting for that person. And that's an easy one for them to tell themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. I just think, like, I mean, I get the only thing I would have done if I was her, I would have, like, tried to make some sort of rallying cry, and the what are they calling it this season, where they all sit on the 1 versus 100 iPads?
It's called deliberation.
Sure. Deliberation.
When they're in the deliberation, I this is just me with thinking about it more so I'm not blaming her for this, but I would have, like, said, yeah, I'm writing this out, like, because rookies, clearly we know the veterans are working together to try to get rid of all of us. Right now, we have the numbers by a very thin margin. If we can all put our heads together right now and pick double veteran team to vote in, then we can get double veterans team in, and we can keep ourselves moving along. But that's a very hard thing to do. I don't think she would have gotten it.
Because how many double veteran teams are there?
There's
Amanda, Kyle and Amanda,
Kyle.
And
is that it? That might be it.
And
no, because she's with Tommy. It's just
she's
Amanda
with Tommy.
And Kyle.
Yeah. So it's just Amanda and Kyle.
So I'm sure Amanda and Kyle then were very much happy with how things went down.
I think that's going to be a really good team.
I do too.
I would probably prefer to be on a split team, to be honest, right now.
Why?
Because then if like a rookies team happens to win, you're not in jeopardy either. Assuming
because you're
they get
all veterans team.
Yeah, assuming they kind of get their act together. Which,
my perspective, Yeah,
I don't
so
think it's going to
that's
matter.
my thing about it. Yeah, it's like they're not going to be able to get their act together. Like we've talked about, like the most.
Michelle and Tommy are smart. They should somewhat know what's like coming.
I don't think that
But
that's a
how many of
strategy
these
that
other
they're going to take. Though. I think
doofuses
they're
know
going to.
how that works?
Yeah, like Rob, you have to think about the most successful veteran alliances in the history of the show, and compare them to these people, right? What's the most successful,
Most successful rookie alliances? You're saying?
most successful rookie
No.
alliance ever? What's the most successful rookie alliance of all time?
Frank's crew in Battle of the Seasons.
And then what's the one beneath that? Like 1,000 miles of crap.
No, like. I mean, I have to think about it a little bit more. Like, I get like
the women on Battle of the Sexes
far the
too.
most successful ever.
the women. Okay, rookies at Battle of the Sexes too. Like, what does that even mean?
I'm just saying, like,
you got like Wes's
not.
crew on Battle of the X's too. That's not bad.
I'm talking about all rookie.
But that's
alliances.
a mix of vets and rookies.
I know it's not. It's not good.
You just named Wes as like the leader of the alliance.
Yeah, if Wes was around, I wonder what he would do. Would he run with the rookies or the vets? That would be an interesting one. I mean,
like, they just need to wake up, smell the fucking roses, because in the same way that this lines up well for the veterans to pick the rookies off, the same is true for the rookies. They have the numbers
right now. They have So right now, because Nam's out, poor Nam apparently just can't hang around on a season. So he's out, and then Ed comes in. That's another rookie that's added into the numbers.
They only gained the numbers, right?
Well, they lost 2.
They lost 2, and they lost
2.
1. So they're down.
No,
1.
they gained 9.
They're down 1 from before, but they lost 2 and gained 1. So they're in totality they're down 1.
Because a veteran went home too, Trace.
Yeah, because Ed came in.
Oh yeah. I got it. Okay. Yeah,
I mean, they're coming from like Survivor and Big Brother type shows, so like they have some political background, but it's just hard, man.
These foreign seasons of Survivor, is it like American Survivor, where it's very political and strategy focused?
It's still certainly political heavy. It's not to quite the same degree. Like there's more physical aspects to it, but there is still a big political part to it.
The challenges are the challenges they do are more physical in a lot of cases. Like Romania's is very physical. Australia's is more physical. So yeah.
All right. Now that we've covered that a little bit. Let's get into the pairings, right? Let's go over what we think of the decisions on who chose who for the teams.
I think
the first one to the checkpoint for the men, it was Kells and Emmanuel.
Kells and Emmanuel were the first 2.
Emmanuel chose Casey, and Kells chose Tori.
Yeah, Team Tag
chose wisely.
Casey and Emmanuel. Yeah. Team tasked with Emmanuel and Casey. I mean, Tori's been kind of an earned performer lately. I still think she could be very good. Unfortunately for Kells, they did not hang around for the entirety of the episode.
Of all the people that got screwed the most in that episode, of all the people that got screwed in that episode the most, Kells probably did. Like, he wins the race of the rookies to pick a good partner. He gets a good partner. They perform pretty well. He does nothing wrong. He keeps his mouth shut, and now he has a way worse partner now.
He has Emmy, who would have gone in if the voting had gone how people had thought it was going to go.
I thought he's with Tracy. He's going to be in that bad of a situation. No, he's with Emmy.
No, he's with Emmy. Tracy's with Ed.
Because you have to remember that Corey L picked Tori, who was his partner. Mm-hmm. And so at that point, he's left with Emmy. So I actually don't think he's in as bad of a spot as I initially thought, when you keep in mind that they don't have to put a whole team in, right? So even though he's with another rookie, it really doesn't matter as much.
Well, but the winner, the house does.
Yeah, I guess you're right. That does screw him. He's still screwed.
Yeah, he's still screwed.
It doesn't matter. No, he's screwed.
Yeah.
And they seem like they could actually, in terms of just physical competition, they could actually be a decent team. I mean, he's 6'6" football player. She didn't look bad.
Really? Mm-hmm. I don't know if she showed me anything that would make me think that she's promising physically.
I mean, for me, it was more of a scouting thing where I didn't think she looked bad.
Okay.
Fair enough. Hey, if you're the Veterans Alliance right now, is your best move trying to give Amanda and Kyle every advantage possible so that you know for sure you have 2 vets in the winner's circle picking 2 rookies. Like, what if the veteran and their rookie partner disagree? You know, what happens? Like, is it in the vet's best interest to try to do their best to help Amanda and Kyle win?
That's
I
not
mean,
a bad point. I think
yeah,
I think what's going to happen though is that the veteran with the rookie in that situation, if that occurs, I don't know how many of these rookies have strong enough personalities to be able to like take their partner to the brink. And
I don't know if
like,
it's strong enough personality as much as like mental fortitude of knowing what's going on. Like I think I would say Gabo has a strong personality. I can imagine Nani will have the voice in that if that pair is winning a mission.
Gabo, when it's time, first of all, they're never winning a mission. Like, I'm sorry.
I
Like,
mean, if it's a political one,
I think Gabo is going with the alphabet strategy for who to put in if he has to choose.
the Sean alphabet strategy. Hey, I voted for Anissa first. Oh wait, she's in the thing. Okay, like, oh my gosh, like, I cannot tell you how hysterical he was to me, because even on the preview episode, he just had no idea what he signed up for, or he's a good actor. It's one of the two. I lean towards he really has no idea what the heck's going on.
I mean, he said like it's one because if he knew what was going on, you feel like in confessionals at least we would see some like intuition. Then I mean, in confessionals, he's admitting he has popcorn muscles.
Yeah.
Is this the cast of the Jersey Shore? Which he probably only knows because the show he's on is Warsaw Shore, so same name.
The self-awareness to admit that you have popcorn muscles, I applaud.
I mean, really, he should be admitting it on in front of the cast to see if they can take him along. Then
might give Tori flashbacks. I don't know. You might want to avoid that. But okay, so one thing that stood out, and I have to bring this out now. Coriel's outfits are just unrivaled. I don't even know what to say. When he showed up near the end of the episode, there's no one that has dressed like this man on the show before.
Dude, and I don't know, man.
What about
I can throw some
ever?
I'll throw. Look, I can't have it right now. I will throw you some outfits, and we could have an whole episode on this.
I mean, Jordan
we're talking about in totality, right?
Yeah, in totality.
He's just getting warmed up, right? I think this will be consistent throughout the course of the season, and we're even talking about from the preview episode that aired on Monday night, where I told you guys that what he was wearing was outrageous. Tell me I was wrong.
You weren't wrong. The red suit followed by that weird T-shirt that looked like he had like
the deepest V I've ever seen,
and it had like a curve on the V too. Like it was like 2 boobs and then like a V in the middle. It was so bizarre. And then tonight he's wearing leather overalls with a see-through mesh shirt. Like Ammo wore outrageous outfits, but that was like.
I think Jordan still has the crown for his total madness outfits.
The thing is, though, that Jordan is toned down at times, too. He doesn't do that every time.
I guess that's fair, because Corey's pitching heat every single time he's somebody comes up to the plate, whereas Jordan would take a few batters off.
He knows what he's doing.
No, I'm here for it. Like, I am always about the boldest outfits. For me, confessional outfits should be the boldest outfits you can throw out there. I don't want any of these West sweater vests.
Yeah, and that's the thing is it's brilliant on Corey's part because he is dressing the way he is. He's going to get confessional time because he stands out. He really stands out. He's well-spoken. He's well-engaged. He actually seems to kind of know what's going on with the game. Yeah. Like you can tell he watched some of the seasons before he showed up. So
solid physically to this point.
I think he's got to be. He's probably the first episode MVP in terms of actual performance on the episode, right? I thought he did a pretty good job on that elimination.
I'd have to think about it. I think he was really good, and I think he has. I think he was really good. I think he's got a lot of potential. As far as who the MVP of the episode was, let's think about it. Let's marinate it on a little bit as we continue to talk through this.
Okay. Yeah, I got to marinate.
I think we can say it's not Huey, right, for the MVP for this one.
Yes, we can definitely say
we have to talk about this. Could we have come up with a better pairing than those two?
No, those two are.
I called it in the previews that he was going to be like a smaller British Josh. I guess he's from Ireland, so it's not really British. It's a British show. But I mean, did you guys see what he did wrong with the safe? Because I actually think they got it right kind of early. But did you see what he did wrong?
No,
No.
what do you do wrong?
So he was trying. They're on the knob. He kept trying to turn it, and he's like, "It won't turn. It won't turn." And then eventually, you see him. He just pulls it. You don't turn it. You just like pull the knob like back, and he pulls it and it, like opens right up. And he like just pushes the safe over, and it's just not having it. But yeah, that's if they can hang, that's gonna be an explosive pairing.
Oh, I don't know.
I
dude.
feel
think
like
this is hanging on by a thread.
this has potential to be a potential someone goes home for slapping the other. Like you get the two of them drunk far enough in the season and they still hate each other, there will be physical violence because
It seems like it's definitely going to be one of those like pairs where they love each other 1 second and then are just at each other's face the next second, right? They definitely.
Because that was even what we saw right when they were back at the house, right? They were all together. Ashley was telling him what to do in deliberation, and then she was like, pretty much like said something like, "I'm going to kill you if you do this," or something like that.
I think she's. I just think she's going to kick him under the bus the first chance she gets. Like once Amanda like wins the mission. I mean, probably, but like once Amanda, apparently he boxes. So, but the thing is with boxing, that's weight class mandated, and unfortunately, the challenge is not.
Will he be the points per episode king of fantasy this year?
I mean, Michaela put in a very good. Michaela and Michelle both put in very good performances and desperate efforts this episode.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
he and Ashley are definitely going to both be putting up the numbers. But
yep.
You know, like if Amanda wins a mission or Nelson or just somebody Ashley's friends with wins a mission, she's like, hey, you know, who might not be a bad guy to pick.
Yeah,
I mean, it
okay.
seems
So
like
something. Go ahead, Devin. I'm off topic from where you're going.
I'm a little off topic too, but related to what Rob just said in a slight way. Amanda seems like she's in a golden position right now.
I think that Amanda, Nelson, Ashley, like that whole group. I know Ashley's got
especially because it seems like she's going to kind of be the bridge with the Big Brother alliance too. She's going to try and bring them together slightly. It seems like they might be able to just coast to the end.
That like love triangle dynamic where we've got Nelson hooking up with Ashley now, and then Amanda's friends with both, but then Amanda's hooking up with Fessy, who's bitter enemies with Nelson, and then Nelson's best friends with Hunter, who got screwed over by Ashley. Like, I mean, if we could just bring Hunter into the mix, we're looking at quite a situation here.
They should have cast Hunter, to be honest. I mean,
I think that's Hunter. How are you not bringing in Hunter instead of Ed? Ed brought a lot of energy, so I like that, but.
Did Hunter just not want to do it?
No, he wanted to do it.
He did? Okay.
I can guarantee he wanted to do it.
That's dumb.
He should be on, especially when now that you know we're going to have a problem. I would we know Amber B appears in the trailer, so she's coming in at some point. Like I think there might be an opportunity for them to use a couple alternates here. So in fact, he's not getting called off the bench in I don't know where he lives. But.
So outside of let's get into the format. All right. So outside of being able to switch partners if you win elimination, what do we think about the format in that the winner of the mission gets to choose one pair to go in, or gets to choose two people to go in elimination, not necessarily on the same team, and then the rest of the house has to vote one single pair to go into elimination as well? Are we in favor of that? Are we against that? Do we think it's boring?
I think it's okay. I prefer actually a little bit more spread out in terms of who gets power in the mission, just because then more people will compete. Like I feel like what you run into the risk here of is that, like I know on last season there was a couple of missions where only a few pairs tried, just because there was only a few pairs who could win, and then nobody else really had incentive beyond that. So that I could see being somewhat of an issue, but beyond that, I don't think there's a lot of problems. I do really like actually the double eliminations. I think that will help the pacing of the season a lot.
That was what I was gonna bring out, was that like just the fact that we're getting rid of two people.
Yep.
That's going to help this season feel like there's momentum behind it, and it's good.
They're going to have to hit the brakes eventually, right? Otherwise, we're going to run out of people too fast.
I don't know.
Because we were getting rid of one person per episode last season, right?
How do we know, though, that they're not going to break up the pairs and it goes individual at some point?
Right? That makes it seem more likely at this point. Because, Rob, think about it. We got rid of one person per episode last year. And that lasted us through 19 episodes. There's no way that they can get rid of two people per episode this season. How does the math
work? We had
work?
a lot of weird things where a lot of people DQ'd, and then there was also those weird episodes where Devin and Darrell and Josh and CT all go into elimination during one episode. They have a few different triggers they can pull to make it so funky around with the timing of it.
Rob, how many pairs are there this season? There are
There's
17
16 right
pairs.
now with Michaela and Renan on their way out.
So they could they can't do it, right? Because you have to have people that are going to be in the final. How many people do we think will be in the final? Like
Well,
6,
so if we
8?
assume it's 4 pairs and the final runs 2 episodes, then you've got 14 episodes out of that, right? 14
No,
more.
you'd have
No, it's
17
19 episodes, Rob. I thought it was
Well, I'm
19.
saying 14 more, like if they run the numbers as normally. Like
I
if
don't
2
get what you
people
mean.
go per episode.
Okay, hold on.
two-
All right, so
If
if
2
we
people
have
go per episode,
we
they
have
want to get down to
34
4 before the
people.
final.
We have 34 people, so that's
There's
17
going to be more than
teams.
4 people for the final.
No,
No,
4
4
pairs.
teams.
Yeah, so 8 people left.
So 8 people. So
So-
you're gonna be down to
That's 10 episodes
26,
that they can go with this.
13.
Because how many pairs are there? You said 17 or 14?
There's 17 pairs.
17
So-
pairs down to 16 now.
So that's 13 episodes that they could go, right?
Well, if we the finals 2, then it's 14.
I know,
They-
so that
they
would
ordered
leave them at 15 episodes in total.
And they ordered 19, you said, Trace?
Yeah, there's
Yes.
19.
Okay, so they'll definitely extend it to some degree. I don't know what that means. Is it
And
individual?
who
Is
knows?
it-
Maybe we have an episode that winds up like the Zach Jenna thing, but maybe it's like actually interesting.
It's split over 2, and maybe they have a couple that are individual eliminations, but like they could have a couple individual eliminations, but not all individual eliminations. I don't know. They have plenty of different ways they can get it to the number of episodes they want. Like they'll figure out a way to do that.
I'll give them credit. There was only one point in this episode when I thought to myself, they're stretching this too long. And I think it was about
Really?
it was like about it like the halfway mark. I'm like, man, I was like looking at the non-existent watch on my wrist, being like, let's speed this up.
I was pretty into all of it. I didn't think they stretched anything.
I know it a little bit after that, it started to pick up again, but there was,
Okay.
I feel like definitely a lull in the middle of the episode.
There was
Well,
a
so-
5-minute lull, and I will allow a 5-minute lull in a 90-minute show.
So, well, Trace and I were talking about beforehand. Do we want to talk about the shutdown stuff?
Yeah,
too?
so let's dive into this. So I noticed that they're not going to address that they had a COVID shutdown because Nam went home because of the COVID shutdown. I don't know if he tested positive or because of the scheduling of the show getting pushed back. He went home because of the shutdown. So there were several different outfits by different people in the confessionals. Like Rob counted, like Nelson had like 4 or 5 different outfits in the confessionals. And so they either pulled from a lot of different places, but it feels like there was a lot of skipping around, if you know what I mean. Like it felt like it was a little choppy in the middle, and that might be why there was a lull, is they had to have a weird transition to get them, because it feels like the shutdown either happened after the mission before they voted or after they voted before the elimination, because there was something different in that time frame.
Well, you also think about it. So we have Michelle and Logan's birthday apparently happened in this episode, which is one night. You have the other night where Emily finds Michaela and Renan and the Survivor people with the list. You have You have 3 different hookups happen. Like you have so many different things happen, or that would seem to all each occur possibly on separate nights. That I think it would make a lot of sense that we have the mission, then we have the shutdown, and then whatever happens.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like there could have been as many as 5 distinct nights going on in this one episode.
Yeah, really, it does.
Who knows how many? There's no way to tell.
And
So, yeah.
I also noticed they didn't picture Lauren, Josh's partner, at all.
Yeah, I feel like there were some people that got no screen time, or pretty
Yeah,
much.
like
Yeah.
Lauren
Most of
Coogan
them.
got 0 visibility, like period, it seemed like.
Who was Corey L's partner too?
That was Emmy.
Or no, who am I thinking of? Who was
Corey Warrenton's partner?
The one that was left without a partner at the end. Who was Nom's partner?
Nom was with Michelle.
Who's the other
Jeremiah
wo-
was with Tasha, but I thought Tasha got it. Jeremiah didn't get much.
Who's the other woman, or who that was left without a partner at a certain point from Germany? I think this is how memorable she was in the episode. This was her only line, I think.
Well, Tracy didn't. Tracy was Corey's partner. She or was she Corey's partner? Or was she somebody else's partner?
I don't know. I'm still trying to learn these people. So I was
Tracy and Bettina. I keep getting confused. I think. Did they have the list of this up yet? We really should have gotten this before the
Yeah, it's
episode.
on.
Did somebody put it on Reddit? It's got to be on Reddit by now.
Yeah, how does nobody have this up yet? Come on.
And who is
Somebody has it up. I guarantee it.
Well, Bettina was Corey's partner, Corey Wharton's partner. And then who was Tracy's partner?
Here, I'm pulling up Reddit right now to see if I can.
Was it Devin? Devin was Tracy's partner. That's right.
Oh,
And
yeah,
she's
that's what it
with
was.
Ed at the end of the episode. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought
So
they
I
spread it out kind of evenly beyond that. Jeremiah didn't get a lot of screen time, but look, they're not going to give everybody a ton of stuff.
There were definitely some people that just even after watching this one episode, referencing back to our fantasy draft, which everyone can go listen to, still relevant, I would say, at this point.
Devin and I both lost one this episode. Actually, I guess Devin, you lost two because you now I'm two, right? Yeah. Oof.
Does that count as an injury exit? Has to, right?
I don't know. I don't know what happened. I'm gonna have to. People are gonna be very upset at me with your way going this. Well,
Because
I mean, it could just be it could just be he left.
It's possible, but
So
he technically went home because of an injury, right? Because
what would be the injury?
That there was a COVID issue and they had to slow down, right?
Well, but like, I mean, that's I don't know. I'll have to send some messages to some people and figure this out. But people will not be happy with me. I'll be having to deal with a lot of angry emails, unfortunately.
What was I going to talk about there? What were we talking about? We were talking about.
Well, you said some people hadn't been shown at all.
Oh, that's what I was about to say. Is that even after this first episode, there were some people that appeared that even through the minimal, like the small amount of time that we saw them, made me think, well, that person should have gone a lot higher, or that, wow, I wish I would have gotten that person when they they were essentially freely available. Emmanuel being one.
Yeah, he went pretty late. I priced him way too low in the fantasy game too. He seems like he'll be very good. It's just hard to find the cheap guys to go to.
On our weekly fantasy league, I did pick Huey though. I had a good squad for this week.
Yeah, man. He's just gonna be a ball of action for as long as he can hang around.
You know what's
hopefully
interesting?
He hangs on. He seems like he's gonna be good.
Yeah, I did think Michaela really took the loss as well as you could expect, though. Like, I did really like Michaela bringing out the list of lessons she had in the confessional afterwards.
So,
I thought that was pretty funny.
This is the thing. This is the exact same reason why she was sent home from Millennials versus Gen X, too. She was sent home from Millennials versus Gen X because everyone perceived her to be overly strategic. There was a moment in the show, in the episode that she got sent home, where she pulled some people aside and she was putting seashells on the sand and pointing out the numbers and the strategy that they should take. Pretty much the exact same thing that happened this episode.
That is crazy that you mentioned that now. Yeah, visual learner is apparently not very popular on reality competition shows.
It's just completely different when you like put it on paper, right? It's one thing for you to be able to
but like you see Laurel's always walking around with her lists.
I know,
but people are afraid of Laurel.
Come on.
I mean, she does also typically put in after she does that, to be fair.
She's she's Laurel.
Well, Michaela
isn't quite Laurel. Let's be real.
Yeah, not yet, at least.
Yeah, I wish she would have gotten an elimination where she was able to show her true ability a little bit more, right? Like you could tell
this one's just kind of hard to see what happens.
That was one of my biggest complaints with this elimination. It was kind of tough to tell what was going on because you couldn't tell which direction everyone was trying to go. You couldn't tell like how they were supposed to push them off. I feel like in theory, it sounds good because it's one of those. There's not a lot of luck involved. Very like small amount of luck. Yeah. You're either stronger than the other pair or you're not.
That could have started because the thing is, even with this one compared to like the ones in the sand or like the CT Johnny Tyler one, I feel like even those you can use a little bit more tactics of like trying to get under the person. This one I feel like it's so much harder to if you're seated down already and you're sitting like that. I think it just becomes full force.
For sure. One thing I noticed, changing the subject, the cast had more fun in this one episode than in Total Madness and Double Agents combined.
Yeah, they seem to be having a good time. I don't know about combined, but they were enjoying themselves. That was one of the things that we both agreed on in our was that a Patreon episode? Yeah, that was the one of the things.
One of the ones where my connection didn't work.
That was correct. Where you got kicked out of the building. Yes.
The last episode that we did, Rob was on momentarily until he got kicked off. And if you want to know why he got kicked off, go subscribe on Patreon and you can listen.
It's more complicated than I feel like it's been portrayed.
But Trace and I talked about what we want to see out of the season. Some of the biggest things that we want to see out of it And one of them was that we want to see the cast have fun and enjoy themselves. And to this point, we've seen it, and hopefully that continues through.
Yeah. Michelle couldn't pass up picking Devin at the end when she saw him come out with the birthday cake and the purple suit and the whatever else he was wearing.
What do you think Devin's strategy was when he raised his hand and tried to encourage Michelle to pick him?
I think he didn't think she'd be a bad partner. I think the thing about having them as a pair is with missions you really need to specialize in a certain skill set. And since they're both pretty good at puzzles and like mental type games, and then they both have that type of awareness, I think they have a good shot in those missions.
I don't know. That's the thing.
And here's the thing.
You want someone that's good at the opposite of what you're good at, though. And so that's the only.
If you're trying to win missions, if you're trying to win missions, I think you just want to specialize in one thing. For eliminations, then you want to split it apart.
But see, here's the thing, and this is why I think it's a good pick, actually, is Rob's right. Like, if they're paired together, there's not too many missions where it's all physical. There's usually some type of strategy or puzzle component or memorize something in the midst of the physicality. And so, since they don't have to go into elimination together, why not pick somebody who might potentially go home quickly, because you might get a few advantageous places in the game before she goes home?
She gives him a few connections. I think she's better than Tracy. Like, I think she certainly has more experience seemingly in a competition show than Tracy does.
I mean, I think that was one of the main reasons why he wanted to go with her. Because at this point, all he cares about is performance in the missions, right? Because, it does, I guess, to an extent, jeopardize him a little bit to go into an elimination, but not at this point, right? There's still a lot of meat left on the bone. I
think he'd rather be with her. I think even in a physical elimination, he'd rather be with Michelle than Tracy. I thought she did well, all things considered, in that elimination.
Yeah, this is definitely
I think from her end, it's more interesting. Do you think that was a good pick for her?
No. Let's get into that. That was actually the next thing that I wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Michelle's decision to pick Devin and Corey L's decision to pick Tori. So as far as Michelle goes, out of the available people that she could have picked, no, I don't think that was a good pick.
What would you have done?
Nelson, Fessy, Corey.
I think it's with Nelson. There's a loyalty with Nelson that I actually think is actually pretty valuable in that situation, where we know Devin's going to kick whomever to the, like he tried to get Tori eliminated last season when they were all paired together. Whereas Nelson, I feel like if you go up to Nelson and you talk to him in a certain way, like you know, cushion
he's gonna die for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think Nelson would have been my play too. I don't think Devin's that bad. Just because I think the hope is though that he has a lot of connections on this season, and then that'll be able to keep them around a little bit longer.
Which he should, because I don't know that they're like super close, but they've worked together before, Kyle and Devin. You've got Devin hooked into the Big Brother Alliance. Devin's never
already
had
going 3 too, so he's good friends with Nelson and Amanda.
Yeah, so I feel like Devin's in a good spot, and I think this is a good place to transition to an idea I had for this. Who do you think is the rookie that's in the best position right now, and what rookie is in the worst position? And then we'll do the vets.
I think Emmanuel was probably in the best spot.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. Just thinking.
Ironically enough, you're gonna laugh at me. I think Gabo, the clueless one, is in the best position based on the way the format is structured. Because he's so clueless and self-deprecating about his popcorn muscles and all that stuff, if I'm a vet, I want to save him for when the vets have to start throwing each other in. Because that's going to have to happen. At some point, they're going to run out of rookies.
Is pushing him out. I think Nani's pushing him out the door first chance.
Is it possible that Gabo is playing the Kaiser Soze strategy?
Why would he lie to us then?
He's got to stay in character. He wants the big reveal.
Yeah.
He's pulling the wool over our eyes
reveal.
As well.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think he is.
I would bet against that.
Dude, someone has to do that on Survivor of the Challenge at some point. Someone has to do it. No one's ever even attempted it.
Mm-mm.
People tried to play themselves down physically before.
No, I'm talking about full commitment, pretending like you're another person.
Like put on an accent like in your on
Yeah,
TV.
like
Yeah,
Dabo all of a sudden comes out like a like business executive from New York. You know what I mean? Completely different person.
he's secretly working for J.P. Morgan.
Yeah, making like $5 million a year,
Yeah.
and this is like his true passion is to be on the challenge.
It's beyond the challenge. I mean, I don't know. I think
Yeah.
he's getting. I think he's definitely like once these double rookie, and even with the double rookie pressure still around, if they just need somebody to go in, I think Nani will happily oblige for her partner to be shipped out the door.
Sure.
Who's Priscilla's
I just
partner?
think as a veteran male, I
she's
want
with
him
Nelson.
around long. I want Mel.
I think
I
she's
want
in a
him
very
to
good
stick
spot
around.
too.
Priscilla's in an excellent spot because one, I think she's like by all appearances she'll be pretty good physically, and she's partners with Nelson. I think they're
She seemed crazy intelligent too when I did the background on her.
okay. I like that.
So that's a good one. Who's in the bad spot on the rookies? Is it Michelle?
No, I think she's.
Tommy.
I think she's better now with Devin. I don't know. I think the Emmy Corey L pairing is in a lot of trouble.
But they're not paired with each other anymore, are they?
No, excuse me. The Kells Emmy pairing is in a lot of trouble. I know Kells seems great physically, but I think that could also be a problem for him.
Yeah, oddly enough, Emmy seems like she's the one probably the most on the ropes.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense, right?
Why?
I don't even get her. No. I mean, so from this perspective, why does she decide that she wants to spill all the beans against?
Yeah, I don't get that. I think that's a terrible move.
And she's acting like she's the champion of the episode. Like, what is she doing?
I mean, she got on TV a lot, but I think it's a terrible long term move. I think if you, I just don't think she realizes how much the veterans are together. And look, with hindsight, we can probably see that more than we would if we were in the house. But if I was her, I'm not trying to push another double rookie team under the bus because we saw she almost got thrown in with them. Like if Logan's not Anisa's partner, they're probably going in.
All right, so let's talk about.
What about the vets? Who's in the best and worst spot for the vets?
No, hold on. Let's talk about Coriel's decision first. His decision to pick Tori. Trace, what do you think of that?
I think that's good.
It's a great decision.
Would it have been the decision you would have made, though? I don't think it's a bad decision. I think it's a good decision, but could there have been a best decision?
So the thing I have to balance here is who's going to be loyal to me and who has connections, and then also who I can win missions with. Those are the three things that I'm really looking for. I think Tori is going to. I think Tori's going to be a little bit more loyal to her partner than Ashley or Amanda. What I actually think Ashley and Amanda have other. Like they're going to be more sort of the way they play the game is they're going to push themselves in their lines forward. Whereas Tori, I think, is more willing to be a bit more fluid with that. I think they have a pretty good shot at winning missions. If there's something strength based, I think they might actually be the favorite in that. And then she has enough connections, I think, to fly by.
Yeah, I think Tori's a great choice. Like it's a great choice. I think the best choice is Casey.
Yeah, I think I agree.
Yeah, that's not bad either.
Because the Big Brother Alliance is they're sticking together. They ain't breaking.
Yep.
Those three ain't breaking. Then you got Devin, which might get you Kyle. And then Casey is by far the best all-around female. Is she the best physical female? Maybe not. Is she the best mental female? Maybe not. But she's a solid B+ in both of those. And so I would rather have someone who's more well-rounded and loyal than someone who maybe is a great physical competitor but is a complete train wreck on puzzles and ruining the strategies. They won't shut up and stuff like that.
Casey's definitely going to be better in fantasy this season just because of the fact that she's single and Nani's on the season as well. Like they're going to get a ton of airtime.
I think probably, but we have seen sometimes if there is just kind of a stable couple, they'll just have like one or two scenes of being a couple, and that's kind of it. Like with Cara and Pauly, they actually didn't score. They scored fine just themselves, but they didn't show them like as a couple that much because they were just
the difference though is that Nani tends to be a hot mess at times, and so like she will do things like throw noodles at people, you know.
So she'll get them in drama.
There's an opportunity for drama between the two of them, even if they are completely stable.
It looks like Ashley is going to be just fire and brimstone.
I mean, she always is. Outside of War of the Worlds too, really.
If the preview has anything to say about this, I know we're not going to talk about the previews just because we know that some people intentionally try and stay away from those. So from
Yeah.
here on out, we'll just be cognizant of that as we talk. Like we may say things like I just said, but we're not going to like state them explicitly.
Do you think it was interesting how much time they gave to the Nelson Fessy feud in this episode with how much stuff happened?
I mean, I didn't think they gave more than I thought they should. I didn't think that they did it a crazy amount. I think they have to bring it up because it's going to continue to come up. I think this is going to be one of the more present narratives throughout this season.
Yeah, and the fact that it was a very contentious conversation that came directly out of the previous season. Like if it was a longer break between this incident and this conversation, they might not spend as much time on it. But because it just happened on the last season, and it like Nelson was fired the fuck up. Like he was very emotional about this situation.
And we had talked about this last episode too, about Nelson's approach and what we thought about it.
I think Nelson trying to put on a facade is like just not a good long-term plan.
It's just outside of his abilities.
Yeah, it's
like,
just not
he's
not
like
who he is.
Not capable of it.
I mean, maybe like
he's not.
On Invasion, he like dupes Shane and Corey in that one elimination.
He dupes Corey.
He duped Shane too. What we just said here. Well, he duped Shane and Corey.
Yeah, and that's
he does. He gets to pull with him.
Name what other.
The difference, though, is he was
has done anything approaching that level. And while you think, Trace, go ahead, continue with what you were going to say.
I was about to say, though, Nelson was an unknown entity for both of them in that season. You know what I mean? Like Nelson
Corey and Nelson
had
hung out.
Yeah, but like on the show, in terms of playing the game, like, you know, he was an unknown entity, and now you kind of know that, like, okay, when push comes to shove, he's going to go. But then you also have to factor in that Nelson and Corey act like brothers now, whereas they were still just getting to know each other back then. So it's like, if he gets mad at me, okay. I don't think he would do that to Corey now.
I'm just saying we've seen him pull some Machiavellian tactics before. Maybe he's got it in his back pocket still.
Yeah, perhaps. All right.
What else do we want to talk about?
What vet's in the best spot? What vet's in the worst spot?
I think they're all sitting pretty good. I guess Big T might be in the worst spot, like just because she's with the Survivor alum.
Because you guys were talking about how the rookies like came prepared and were ready to play. They're in complete disarray right now.
That's what I was told. That's what I was told on the previews.
I think a lot of rookies, when compared to past rookies, okay, like let's throw this. You can't take a rookie and say they came to play and expect them to perform like a veteran. However, compared to other rookie classes, there are several rookies that showed up knowing a little bit about the show and knowing enough that they're gonna hang around at least a little bit. Whereas some of these rookies,
none who know each other, which I think is a problem.
So you know who's someone, now that I'm just looking at the people on the cast, someone who got a shockingly amount of low airtime this episode for his standards?
CT.
Kyle?
Yeah, Josh. Josh was almost invisible this episode.
Josh was invisible.
Well, that's what I was saying is that Lauren wasn't on the episode at all, his partner.
So this could be COVID related.
Yeah, I think there could be a situation there. Like, I don't even remember them being pictured that she like broke him apart.
Yeah,
I just got that they were partners through the process of elimination. Really, that could be wrong.
Who knows? Although it's so interesting when I was thinking about the vet that's in the worst spot right now. Ironically enough, I think it might be CT right now. Like,
I could see it being CT.
Why is Kyle going to trust CT? He's not.
Why is
anybody going to trust him? I don't know.
He's just got the biggest pedigree, and there's none of his like.
He just won the last season.
He's just of a different breed than everybody else.
He of all people on the veteran side should be trying to champion the Rookie Alliance, right? He should be the West, right? He should be, like.
He should re-inhabit the role he had in War of the Worlds 2, where he was like the Papa
Don
UK team. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think that his best play though is if he can last until it's all veterans left. They ain't throwing him into elimination because nobody wants to go against him. So
Well,
the
but
only way
you don't want to go
Someone
against him in a
has to.
final, though.
Yeah.
You don't have to go.
Exactly.
But you don't
But
have to
there's
go
gonna
against him
be,
if you put him in.
and that's the thing is I think we're in a situation where you might see them try to figure out who the strongest rookie is and throw CTN against him. Like I think
I don't
that
think
is
they'll
a
even be that
possibility.
calculated with it. I think that there'll come a point where the winning team is like, we don't want to face CT in the final. We're going to just vote him in once there's just not as many rookies to pick off.
Is this a season where we maybe get like a big elimination between like a CT and a Nelson then?
Maybe. I just think Nelson's going to be kind of in a pole position here.
Yeah. So is it become something where maybe you see
you don't
CT
think so?
Fessy?
He's the one that's literally being antagonistic against the Big Brother Alliance, and I think the Big Brother Alliance will still continue to be in control.
I'm still a fade on Fessy. I think in the Nelson-Fessy feud, Nelson's winning that feud this time around.
Why would you think that?
I think he has more connections,
friends.
and I think he has more of a positive...
All right, so Fessy essentially has those 4 people in the bag. Like, they're in his back pocket.
Who?
He has Casey, Josh, Devin...
I think Devin's picking Nelson over Fessy.
I don't know, dude.
Same already the one season. He didn't like Fessy at all last season. You can say he's a Big Brother Alliance now. Amanda's picking Nelson over Fessy.
I don't know, dude. I'm just not worried about it.
They've worked together multiple times. Of course they are.
I think, do you want to make this bet? Let's have this be our first bet. I think Nelson makes it farther than Fessy does. I think he places higher.
Okay, I'll bet on this.
There we go. That's what I like to hear.
All right, is it our
I don't know my
$10 bet?
$5.
I kind of want to do more. What?
Standard $10 bet.
No,
it's got to be at least 10. What, $5? What are we
I think there's a lower probability here. Like, I don't think this is like 90% chance that Fessy's going to make it.
Well, what do you think the percent chance then?
I don't know, somewhere like in the 50s. Like, I'm not let's not play this off like I'm like super confident about this. Like, I think that there's an edge there for Fessy.
Well, you did seem so much surprised when I had said that I thought Nelson was in a better spot than Fessy was.
It's just Nelson has name the amount of times that Nelson has been completely in control of the game.
Invasion.
That's essentially what you're saying is going to happen right here.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying he's going to be like Sun Tzu, like moving chess pieces around and stuff. I just think he's got a lot of friends who are going to be in power. Amanda and Ashley can do the game planning. He's just there.
In the same way that Nelson is not capable of being in control of his emotions and not showing Fessy that he's upset with him, he's not being in control of the game and being a strategic mastermind.
I'm not saying he's going to be a strategic mastermind. He can be like Ashley and Amanda will do the plotting and Devin, and then Nelson's just there. He just hangs.
Okay. All right, what else?
The image in my head of Nelson in a Sun Tzu, like ancient Chinese outfit, moving Chinese chess pieces around made me laugh. That just really made me laugh a little bit.
I have all my chips in the Nelson bucket for this season. That's my big play.
Man,
all right, that's a fair bet. Yeah,
like if I'm going all in on something, I don't know if that's what I would go all in.
Well, who are you going all in on then?
Amanda.
You think it's Amanda's season?
Yeah, like who? If you had to pick between the two of those, who would you pick?
I think I'd still lean Nelson, but I do think Amanda's in a very good position.
Oh.
And this will transition.
I'm leaning Nelson because I think even though Amanda's in an amazing spot, I think there is a higher chance of Amanda somehow going into an elimination versus Nelson. But I think Amanda
I really think being in a double VEP team, especially being the only double VEP team, really is not like an outstanding position. Just because if by chance the rookies can get it together or for one vote or something and a few stray votes come their way, then they're in trouble.
I agree.
Well, they better get it together quick.
Yeah,
that's
I just think the probability that the rookies can get it together is super low.
It is very low.
Because here's the thing. If we go 2 more episodes and the rookies still haven't quite got it together, at that point the numbers are even and they're out to lunch at that point. So if they don't get it together the next episode, it ain't happening.
All right. Let's let that transition into power rankings for this season for the first episode. We're going to do this again as much as we hate doing it.
I love doing it.
I love doing it. It's just it gets hard at times.
Who would like to kick us off?
I can start.
Go.
I'll have Nelson 1, Corey 2, Devin 3 for the men.
Nelson.
Corey Wharton
L.
or Corey L?
Corey
Corey
Wharton.
L.
Yes. Corey Wharton.
Okay.
Corey L. Okay. For the women.
To be clear to people, this is our winner rankings. Yes.
Correct.
Yes, power rankings.
Okay, so we're projecting who's going to win, not necessarily like, all right, Corey L had a great week this week. He's going to be in the
Correct.
first.
Right. This is power rankings for who we think is going to win based on this episode so far.
Women, I'll go Tori 1. I just had her as my preseason pick, and I didn't say anything to change it this time around.
I mean, I feel like I saw a little bit to maybe not go against that. I mean,
What?
I feel like any attention at this point is not good attention.
I don't think so. I think being on TV isn't a bad thing.
Because I kind of think it's one of those things that it's like once your name's put out there, it makes it easier for people to put that name out there again.
Like her name was only put out there because that she was mentioned as a strong competitor. She was picked as a strong competitor.
Yeah, I know that's not good.
I don't know if that's not good. I think that's fine.
All right, go ahead.
So I'll go her 1. The 3 that I'm between are Amanda, Ashley, and Nani.
Okay.
I'll go Amanda 2, Nani 3 for right now. Ashley just being with Huey. They just did not put much promise for this episode, although I do think she came in a very good position going forward.
Trace?
All right. Men, based on what we've seen so far, I do have to go Nelson 1. I'm going to go... just not that many vet guys that I'm crazy about. I guess I'm going to go Nelson. I'm going to go Corey Wharton. And I'm going to go CT just because it's CT. I don't
off
feel
your number 1 pick already?
I'm not off of it. It's just based on what we saw this episode. There's just a level of confidence that I need to gain for where we are. For the women, it's a little easier. I would go Tori, Amanda, Casey. And then overall, I think you have to go Nelson, Tori, Amanda.
Are we doing overall this year?
We can do overall. I was going to have the same one as him, actually.
All right.
This is not usual for us. Usually he's off on his own.
So what did you want to do overall?
Stuff.
Say it one more time.
Oh, Nelson, Tori, Amanda.
Yeah, both of us went Nelson, Tori, Amanda.
We should have written these down, and then I should have written them down.
They're in the same spreadsheet.
I know, but he took like my whole thing because he just replaced CT with Devin. Okay. And who was your third one was Casey, right? Not Nani.
Yeah.
So I will go with. I mean, I don't think we're not really like far apart on any of this.
Really?
No. Like I think I'm going to go for the women because I'm the only gentleman on this podcast, and all the women go first. I will go with Amanda 1. Ashley 2, Casey 3, and then I will go with. I don't feel good about any of the guys, to be honest. Like, don't you feel before I get my answers here? Don't you think
I feel good about mine?
Don't you think that there's? Like
I don't feel strongly.
Don't you feel like there's a more even split for the men than there is for the women?
In terms of competitive ability, position, or just everything?
Probability to win.
No, I feel good about it.
I feel it's wide open.
I feel like there's a greater standard deviation between for the probability for each of the women to win than there is for the men.
I actually would go the other way. I feel very good about Nelson 1, Corey 2, and then Devin. And then below, like if I had extended below them, I'd actually be a little bit sketchier on it. Like I'd probably be looking at like Kyle, CT, maybe a rookie, but like Emmanuel. After them, I wouldn't feel great about it.
I wish we would have more than like zero amount of time to think about this before we get on, or at least for me.
Yeah, you're the West Coaster, so.
I guess I kind of want to put Corey number 1, but I feel terrible about that.
Wow, Corey, he's come around.
We've talked about this from all the episodes that we did before. there's no like really like standout guys here besides CT. Like he's it. Like there's no one else. There's no like blue chip talent on
Then
this
pick
cast.
him. Then pick him.
For everyone listening to this now, if you want to go back, we did cast previews of people previously. We did one for the men, returning men, or we did one for the rookie women, one for the rookie women, and then one for all the returnees. Some of those are Patreon episodes, some are not. If you're interested in finding out more about these people, go back and listen to those. And that was one of the main things that we discussed for the returning players. All right, fuck. I'm gonna go Corey 1.
Wow, this is
2, Nelson 3.
This is stunning. So off of CT and then having Fessy only at 2. I thought you would have had Fessy 1.
I actually have a solid
like,
reason why I don't want. I think Fessy is out this season, and I don't think it's because of a political situation. Somebody on the board, I don't know how to pronounce his screen name, but I interact with him a lot. It's like Madong, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember how to. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Very present in Discord. A very sharp viewer of the show.
Very good viewer. Really love interacting with this person. He mentioned he was interested to see how Fessy would perform because the season is taking place during Ramadan, which means Fessy cannot have a sip of water or a bite of food from sun up to sundown. And they even made a point of that in the preview episode earlier this week where he was putting food on plates and putting it in the refrigerator so he could eat after the sun went down. If he's in the middle of a physical daily mission and he's going to be weak because he's only going to really be eating, maybe one meal a day if he gets put in elimination. Like his energy level is going to drop through this season. So I just think he's in a bad spot just from a physical perspective due to his religious belief. And I applaud him for coming on the show and sticking to it. I mean, I don't know a lot of people that would do that. And so like, I give him all the props in the world. I think it's just going to be really hard for him.
So it is definitely tough. I do know like Hakeem Olajuwon, for example, and a bunch of other like professional athletes have had similar situations occur. And it's something too, where I think your body adapts to it after a while of doing it for years over years. It is a credit to him that he's pushing through it like that though.
So Rob, and for everyone listening, Rob and I did a betting podcast where we came up with props for the season. We went through a bunch of different categories, and one of them was most likely to win the season. Who were our picks? Do you recall?
So we both said CT would be the obvious favorite if you're setting lines, and then Fessy would be 2. I said on that show I thought one of Nelson or Corey would win, though, for the men. That's who I would have picked.
Who did I say? Do you remember?
You said you would have bet on Fessy at that point. That's just why I mentioned it.
Okay. Yeah, because you said coming down from CT, I don't remember picking CT to win. I think CT's in a terrible position.
No, I just meant CT is like the public favorite. Like he would be the one that's
the betting line. If you're putting an actual betting
we're
line,
talking about the sportsbook odds. Yeah,
the sportsbook odds would put CT as the favorite.
If we were the sportsbook right now and we put out that line, I mean, like we'd be like licking our chops. We're ready to retire right now on all the people that bet CT to win.
It's just like when LeBron went to the Lakers and everybody was betting them to win the title. And they missed the playoffs.
So I'm gonna go. I honestly might go all of the women for my top 3 over the men.
I'm surprised by that. Like you really like. So do you think there's a much better chance of a rookie male winning than a rookie female?
Yeah, for sure.
You do?
Completely, yes. Completely.
Dude, like those women seem like they're in complete control because I even think it goes 4 deep. I think so. Right now I have Amanda, Ashley, Casey. I would put Nani right behind them too. I think they're in a strong position.
You're not as on Tori as Trace and I?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's
like her and Anissa don't seem as cemented in that alliance as a lot of the other people do. Don't you agree?
They're not, and they won't be as in on that alliance as especially Amanda and Ashley are. Although I'd be curious I guess Amanda and Ashley would probably go with Nani and Casey versus Tori and Anissa.
Yes.
Yeah, totally. But I think we've just got so much road to get down before we get there, though.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to go Amanda, definitely Ashley. Yeah, I'm going to go all 3 women. Amanda, Ashley, Casey.
Okay.
All right. So to recap, no, we're not going to recap.
I think we're good.
Do it again if you want to listen to it.
I think they can
Rewind it.
rewind. Yeah, rewind 2.5 minutes if you want to recap.
I mean, if we weren't,
We're an hour and 10 minutes in. It's we're good.
what else do we want to talk about? I mean, at this point, we've talked more about the episode than there was actual runtime for the episode.
That's not unusual for us, to be fair.
No, I would say that's typical.
I would just.
It's very typical.
I think to close, I just think it was a very solid first episode. There was nothing I was like super excited about other than it looked like the cast was having fun, which is a good precursor for the season. And there was nothing that I hated. So like it's a solid B+ start to the season. It gives me hope, and I'm excited to see next week's episode when I could not say that many weeks last season for Double Agents. I am excited to see what happens next Wednesday based on what we saw tonight.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see more of the internationals kind of interact. I feel like they're more in the background this episode, with the exception of Emmy. So I'm curious once we get more of an interplay there, how that looks. But yeah, I'm very happy with this one and excited to see what happens going forward. All
right. So for the next episode this week, the second episode, the Patron-only episode, which, again, you can subscribe to our Patreon page at thechallengechronicles.com for $4 a month, and you will have access to this episode. We also leave a link in the description of the show below for you to go and subscribe there. We want some feedback on what the patrons want. We will put a poll up for you to vote on. We're torn between doing more content related to season 37, or one of the other tentative episode ideas was that we would continue our best episode ever series and do an episode on Benedict Laurel from War of the Worlds 2. This would be the second episode in our best episode ever series. If you want to listen to the first episode of that series, become a patron. You can listen to that. It was on rookie moves from Gauntlet 2. Very strong episode.
Incredible episode.
We don't know how many of these episodes that we'll do, but that's pretty much what we're in between. More season 37 content or that best episode ever.
Benedict Laurel also includes a list that ends up going disastrously. So
we won't even. So what we will do is the survey that we will put up won't even necessarily be between those two episodes. We just want a more general idea of what people want for these extra episodes. Do we want more season 37 content? Do we want more just random ideas that we can come up with? And everyone that's been a patron to this point has a pretty good idea of what we can come up with. And if you have strong feelings about it, message us in Discord. Let us know what you think. We're open books. We're open for feedback. So with that, thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Hey,
go ahead.
Hey, before you sign off, did you do our patron shout-outs?
Yes. How could you?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, I must have spaced out, or I've had too many daddy waters.
How could you forget King Louis and Nika Guatu, Trace?
To be fair, we did record this twice.
We did. I got confused. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's my bad. I ruined the sign-off. We'll close now. You got a double shout-out, both of you. Good times.
All right. Thank you for everyone, and we'll talk to you again towards the end of this week. Bye.